Take it away, Patrick. You got this.
Take it away. Welcome. We're back here. It is a Monday and it is afternoon, and we just ate.
We ate together.
Well, in the same building. Not really together.
I cooked fajitas in the kitchen, and everybody else could smell it, but they didn't join me, so I didn't buy enough fajitas.
My lunch.
I had chicken nuggets.
All right. So, what did we preach about yesterday aside from food?
Yeah,
Because I know we talked about food.
Food was a big part of it.
Yeah,
Jinx.
food was a big part of it.
Sorry.
We're still
doing
in that series on the 5 bless rhythms.
Yeah.
And we are on the third one, which is E for eat together.
Yeah.
And so we looked about how sharing a meal together really is one of the easiest ways, one of the best ways to share God's love with the people that He's called us to bless. Because oftentimes we know that we're supposed to, or that we get to, right?
Yeah.
It's not a have to, it's a get to. We get to join Jesus in His work. We get to share God's love and share His good news to the people around us. But so often we're like, how? And so I appreciate these 5 bless rhythms that kind of really make them simple and actionable. And eat together, eating together, sharing a meal is something that, eating is something we do pretty much every day.
Right.
Most of us.
Why not do it together?
And by doing it together, that's one way to really bless others. And so we looked at the passage from Luke chapter 19, and where Jesus invites Himself over to Zacchaeus' house for a meal, which we can get into. That was the part that we didn't even get into in the sermon, of just the shock of inviting Himself over. But it was through the act of sharing the meal that actually created transformation in Zacchaeus' life. So that was kind of what we talked about yesterday. And
By the way, genuine laugh. I can't remember exactly how you said it, but you're talking about how sitting down and eating a meal in our on-the-go lives, where we're like texting and putting on makeup and all while we're driving with our knee or whatever it was you said. Genuine laugh. I don't know if you remember that exact phrase, but
I borrowed that phrase from Pastor Dave Ferguson in his book, actually. I got to give credit where it's due.
Sure.
And I tweaked it a little bit, but it's the idea of, our on-the-go life where we are like eating food in the car while steering with one knee.
That's it.
And I knew I had to say that because I was like, oh, man, that is me.
It's there, yeah.
And I used to take pride in how well I could steer with one knee. Wow. Eating something. And it's like, why am I taking pride in that? I mean, this is a couple years ago that I would make that a more regular occurrence. Yeah, before kids, before my anxiety was through the roof.
We did a lot of dumb things before kids.
Yep. But yeah, that
Tell me
it's
more.
so true.
No, I will not.
Well, but it's so true because I don't know, I don't know why it has become so common in our life to have things like meals, conversations with people. I'm trying to think of a third one, but those are the 2 examples of like what used to be relational building activities.
Right.
Of, sitting and having a meal together. You build a relationship together. Sitting together and actually having a long conversation.
Right.
Those used to be such common and like foundational building blocks of society that so often now have become these on-the-go convenience. Hey, we don't have time to sit and visit together, but let's talk on the phone while I'm on the way to such and such, or I'll send you a text. We'll text back and forth for a couple days, instead of just sit and have a conversation and actually build a relationship. Oh, that meal that used to be a family meal thing now is like in the drive-thru on the way to this kid's thing over here. So and so is getting off of work here, and then we're going over here, and I'm not putting shade on families that have that as a real part of their life. It's just like, oh man, have we noticed how like just sitting together and actually having a meal has become almost like special. Yeah. Well, and then we get to these things in our society. It's a birthday party. Yeah. It's a graduation party. It's Thanksgiving. It's Memorial Day cookout. And we almost don't even remember how to just sit around and have a meal together.
Yep.
Because it's like, are we watching the game today? Because we don't know how to sit. and have a conversation together over a meal. And these, or oftentimes, I've even been someone the last couple of years for Thanksgiving will put out a list for our church of like, here's some conversation starters for Thanksgiving.
Right. Which sometimes valuable when you're being with people you haven't seen in a long time, or you don't remember what they're into anymore. Let's kind of.
But it's just evidence of we have let that muscle. We have lost that muscle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of connecting over a meal.
I think back to my childhood, and very quickly, the ones that pop out the most quickly, the ones that are most special memories, the friends that I had, we would be sitting around campfires and just long conversations into the dark of the night, or hanging out at so-and-so's house, and you're like, the video games are on in the background, but in between that, when we're letting other people have turns, we just would start having these meaningful conversations. And it's because of time spent together. People I didn't spend time with, I didn't get these conversations with. But there's something about sitting down at a table with food, or even when we gather out here in the atrium, we've started making sure there's snacks after second service, and people are hanging out. There always was those core, like 5 or 6 people who were already friends outside of being here, hanging out and talking because they felt comfortable here. But then once we started putting food out on the table, it doubled or even tripled the number of people that hang out after second service.
Well, for anyone, who's a part of like a regular part of our New Life family, that's an intentional part of our Sunday worship gathering space is the cookies and crackers and little, salami and stuff like that, and coffee right after service, right after both services. The point is stick around a little bit, have a cookie and just connect with someone. And it you might not make the biggest, deepest friendship, but you're going to connect with someone a little bit more by sticking around and having a conversation over even just a shared cookie than you will if you're, zipping out the door onto your next thing because, oh, I gotta. And that's the thing that this is taking a little bit of a left turn. What I've been reflecting and convicted of in my own life is how tightly packed my schedule is.
Yeah.
That the ability to slow down and actually just connect with people, visit with people, I've squeezed that out of my own schedule because I have to go on to the next thing.
Yes.
And the Lord actually, I think, is doing a work in me of pointing out to me where I have squeezed out margin. And like margin is where he works.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, if I don't have time to sit and just linger a little bit because I'm on to the next thing, that means I've dictated what my schedule is for. I've dictated what the plans are for today. And that means I'm not actually open to whether or not God is creating an open door for me to connect to someone.
Because now you're in control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
master over our own universe.
I did it right before this.
Yeah. Oh.
Patrick, you said, hey, can we push back an extra 15 minutes? I was like, great. I'll work in there for an extra 15 minutes. And I think I came out with 1 minute to spare. I didn't come out to even connect or check in or things. I was like, well, it starts at this time and I'm going to be there a minute early. And, it's like,
somewhat ironically, Patrick and I were hanging out, eating, and just chatting.
Yeah, you guys are catching up on stuff. And I entered into that. And, we didn't get started for an extra few minutes. But it's like, oh, man. If we actually think that Jesus has given us the Great Commission personally, like each one of us, he said, here's your job. I want you to go and make disciples of me. I want you to go help other people follow me in your life. If we're going to take that seriously, then we got to take seriously the fact that he's actually giving us opportunities to bless people. He's putting people on our hearts and on our minds. But if I am too rushed or packed tight or doing all these relational parts of life on the go, I'm going to miss the opportunities he's given me.
Are they sticking is the question. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're giving them enough time to stick.
I don't even think when I'm too packed solid, I don't even have my eyes open to what God might have in plan, But that's why also these bless rhythms, they're not quite sequential, but I think each and every week I'm getting the reminder of like, but the first ones begin with prayer. Yes. And so every week I'm like, oh man, am I actually like recognizing meals as a way to share relationship with people. And I'm like, well, who would I even share relationship? Oh yeah, I should begin with prayer so that God can help me listen to him when he gives me a name or a couple faces of, I wonder how I could share a meal with, these two people that I run into at the gym. The gym's not really a great place to share a meal. And maybe it's just practicing the other rhythms of like listening with care, and praying for them. But if I'm actually gonna be serious about it, how can?
What are you thinking? You're thinking something real hard there.
Well, I see Patrick. I see Patrick at the gym, and then he was like, "Hey, we should do lunch together for this podcast." And we didn't, did we?
I did.
Yeah, you did.
No,
I had snack lunch.
I've definitely had smoothie conversations at the gym before.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking the smoothie bar out there, or they've also got plenty of other good stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be at the
Breakfast
gym,
burritos.
and my buddy will be there, and
Parfait.
sometimes he'll forget his pre-workout or whatever, and I joke around like, "Hey, are you ready for communion?" Really, we're just taking our pre-workout to get ready to go and do our workout. But
Right.
Oh, for sure.
but still, it's like it's the little things.
No, those,
And my favorite when we were
and
doing
there's
the
more connection over that, isn't there?
Absolutely.
the Bibles and barbells when we were doing that for a while. Just if you didn't see it, it was strange, but awesome at the same time. Just like passing around a container that's got the
Yeah.
pre-workout in it, and like scoop that into your mouth, and then pass it along. Don't breathe, don't sneeze, and then you pass around a jug of water.
That
and
was
take
what we were.
that,
That's what
and
we
you're
were
swishing it up in your mouth, and I'm just like, this is the most wonderful, strange thing I've witnessed in a long time. But like that brotherhood was there, and that was a beautiful thing about it.
Because he'll be there doing his workout.
Yeah.
Because he, even like when he got out of his surgery and stuff and was recovering, he's always doing PT at the gym. And he's like, "You want to join us for communion, Pastor Phil?" He's like, "No,
No.
too much caffeine, buddy."
That's funny. That's good. That's
But
good.
it was beautiful and bonding. It truly was. And I watched it multiple times. And I'm just like, I kind of want to jump in on that, but I really kind of don't. But it was like, but I just also was like, just marveled at the simple ways that we're bonded together.
Well, so that word "simple" is something that I so appreciate about these blessed rhythms.
Yes, absolutely.
Is they are so simple. I was talking with someone after church just yesterday, and they talked to me. He's like, "Wow, I really liked the message today," and like, he was trying to pay me a compliment, but the reason I shared this was the thing he talked about was that made sense that I can actually figure out how to apply that to my week this week.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's always the goal and the hope is that when we read God's word, we want it to actually like help us take a step of obedience with Jesus. Like now, we're not just supposed to be filling our heads with knowledge of like, oh, really great ideas. And then we go back to our own life. And I fall into that trap all the time. But the point of studying the Bible is so that it can change the way you live, and oftentimes we say like, what's one simple next step? Like, what's one simple next step? And like off of yesterday, kind of the one simple next step I was encouraging people to do is pick one person that you can share a meal with this week. And sometimes we think, oh, well, I don't know how to share a meal with that person I'm trying to like, who's unchurched or not a believer or things like that. And maybe you're right. Maybe that's not the person that you can share a meal with this week. Maybe you're not there in the journey yet with the relationship with them, but maybe there is someone in your life that you're just like, be more intentional with how we share a meal. I think about, with my kids, they're of the age right now where oftentimes Megan and I are getting food ready that is like appropriate for their age levels, and we're trying not to do different food just because they're little kids, but I will cut it into smaller pieces because of their little kids, right? But I'm preparing their plates at the same time as preparing our plates. But oftentimes, okay, here's your plate. And then, the kids are kids. And my 7-year-old will be like, oh, can I start eating? The other two are like, like that right away. And we're like, whoa, hold on. Like, let me get mom's plate too, and let's sit down together and like have this kind of thing. And it's like, but sometimes it's just easier. Hey, just feed the kids. Or, hey, food's ready and they're still doing something. It's like, all right, I'm not going to mess with them. Hey, let's just us two connect and eat, and we'll feed them after. But it's sometimes it just takes a little bit of intentionality of even the meals with our families. How can that meal be a place of sharing God's blessing, God's love with these people? Rather than just, I'm just trying to fuel my body or make sure my kids aren't hangry and let's get on with the rest of the day. When's bedtime kind of stuff. And I fall into that trap all the time. But how can even just God's love shine through even that mealtime a little bit differently, and often it's by beginning with prayer for that mealtime, listening,
Second one, yeah.
and then just eating together.
Yeah.
God works through that. It is that simple. It's just trusting that he's going to work through that. He does. It is that simple.
Which also includes the next S that we're going to be doing next week, which is serve.
To serve them, yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah.
You can knock 4 out of the 5 out in one meal.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
and I think the simplicity, part of the challenge with something so simple is that it's almost so simple that we talk ourselves out of it.
Yeah.
Wade shared some of the excuses yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
How did that hit either of you, or maybe your own excuse of like, why don't we do this more regularly? Of view sharing a meal as a way to join Jesus in his work with someone who's in our life.
Don't look at me.
Those
You're looking at me because I got a grin on my face. I'm squirrel braining over here.
That's all right.
And it's not quite pertinent.
Well, come on back to excuses then of why we don't
Turn
do
that
this.
squirrel around. So for me, I thought I saw those 3 excuses up on the board, and I was like, yep. Definitely related with every single one of those.
What were the excuses?
The excuses were one. I think it was number 3. I don't have time.
Number 3
It
was
was
that
number
on time?
3. Number 2. I'm gonna do this like a top 10 countdown all of a sudden. But let's see, what were they? There's something about my house. I don't like the way my house looks. Or
Yeah, I don't like having
oh,
people
I don't like
over.
having people over to my house.
Yeah, Or I don't know how to have people over to my house. It figures out how it was worded.
Yeah, I figure that was number 2 was how and house something or other. And then number 1 was like, I don't like people having over to my house, which I totally, that took me back to my childhood, which was not like most childhoods, I understand. But we lived on a summer camp. We lived on a church camp ministry was what I did from kindergarten until, I think I was probably about 25 when I finally walked away from it. So more than the first half of my life here was living on a church camp. And then, the site staff was mostly teenagers. And they needed somewhere to hang out and have fun. But to kind of manage the chaos of that fun, we usually would have the basement of our house, which was the manager's house. It was on site. It was, for the camp's uses, for our family's use. But the basement would always end up becoming the staff lounge, which drove my mom nuts. To have, we already had 4 of us children in that house, and then to have another 9 come in and just be teenagers all over the place, smelling like sandal feet. Just she was never really comfortable with it, but she also knew like that was the best way to 1, keep them safe, 2, to be present in their growth that summer. So we'd have Bible studies in there as well as watching movies or playing video games or doing other stuff, board games and whatnot in the basement of our house. And so it was always, my mom was like, I can't stand having that many people in my house, but it's not my house. It's God's house.
Yeah.
And it's the house that God gave us to love on these kids.
Well,
And that always stuck
so
with
where
me.
my brain goes with that, because there is a very true, real thing with how God has designed us, that not all of us are designed to be
Yeah.
extroverted and get energy from hosting people.
Yes.
Some of us need to have that safety, that retreat, that like safe place to like recharge at home. However, joining Jesus on his mission sometimes requires some sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that the introverted person that needs to recharge at home needs to make 24/7 of their schedule available for people. That's not what that means.
Right.
But if we have 2 to 3 meals a day, 14 to 21 opportunities a week, is there one of those that we can open up and make available?
That's a great question to ask. Yeah.
Like, because, and I've become more introverted as I've gotten older, more of where like, man, being with people, I love and enjoy, but it takes energy out of me more and more. And I need to be alone to recharge that energy. And so like I understand that, but I can mentally prepare when like our house is hosting life group.
Yeah.
You know, okay, life group's coming up. We're gonna be hosting. Okay, we're gonna like make sure that the house is tighter than normal and stuff because we want to, you know, not have our dirty laundry on the socks right in the front door and stuff like that. Okay, do that kind of stuff. And also when you're on with people, you're on with people.
Right.
But it's also one of those things like, yeah, I can do that once a week or once every other week when we kind of host and stuff. Yeah, I can do that. And yeah, it is a bit of a sacrifice, but it's what God has called us to because every time I have been able to like open up a meal to be with someone or open up our home to host others, man, it does fill me up, you know? Jesus, he says it is more blessed to give than to receive. And I think that there's some truth in that of like when we are saying yes to him and like giving to others, wow, we feel the blessing of that.
Yeah.
You know? And it is something as simple as sharing a meal. It's not having an agenda. It's not having to like preach a sermon or lead a Bible study or something like that, you know? But what about the other excuses of, you know, I don't have time. I don't like hosting people in my house. I don't know what to say. Was another one. You know, what if it's awkward? Was kind of another one of the underlying thoughts. What stands out to you as far as like what relates with why we don't more naturally do this? Is it just because we haven't been taught?
I think that's a really good question. I don't remember being intentionally taught, but I remember being shown. And so I kind of caught it for myself of like, this is just a great way to love on people. Is like, even if you don't want to, like allowing them into your home is great for you and them. That's what my parents demonstrated. My dad being a pastor and my mom being a pastor's wife. It was just, you know, there's a societal expectation that you do this and that. But they found a way to embrace that and to own that in a way that lifted others up. Not to just begrudgingly do that, but to embrace that as a calling, as a lifestyle. And so I think I kind of caught that from them of just being willing to open up and have conversations with people regardless of how you're feeling that day. Being mindful that they're reaching out because, you know, we approach God because he calls us. And so other people reach out to us because they're feeling a tugging in their lives of wanting to, you know, gain understanding or gain, they're being called to is why they're calling to us. And so that's the Spirit, the Holy Spirit inside of us that is like they found a landing spot. And so to try to trust that Holy Spirit to then step in, don't know what to say. Well, Jesus told us, I'll give you the words.
Yeah.
Just be still and know that I am God. And so just like that's a common prayer that I'll pray is like, okay, God, have at it. This is kind of what I'll just think inside my head is like, wow, this is a lot right now. Okay, God, take over, do it, do the thing, you know? And so that's a common prayer that I'll say while I'm listening to someone is like, oh boy, it's your turn, God. Step in, step up.
Yeah. What thoughts come to your mind, Patrick, on all of this?
I don't know. This all just seems really simple. So
Yeah.
I don't have any huge.
Is that something that you have received from others of whether you were growing up or in youth group days or early marriage when others used meals to share love to a few?
I mean, heck, when I was growing up, we had a meal train for our family because, you know, mom was battling cancer and stuff, and so there was a group of moms that set up a meal train at the Catholic school that we went to, and so yeah, we'd have like lasagna every Thursday or something, you know, which, you know, takes the person away from it a little bit. I mean, some families would write us a note and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was, I would say that's probably the earliest form. Aside from like having family dinner, like sitting around a dinner table with the family, growing up, which was normal. But yeah, I mean, and then just being around church, you know, almost everything that happens at the church, it seems like there's food at it.
Yeah. And I think we get that from Jesus. It seemed like literally almost every time he was connecting with people, meals was it. And part of that was because of the Middle Eastern culture of his day. And part of that was also just, I mean, human nature. I think we were designed for relationship and food. Like food builds relationship, you know, shared time. And when we're just spending time with each other, proximity, you know, close to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if there's one takeaway or one encouragement that you could give yourself this week, or to give someone else this week, what would it be? Based on taking one step of obedience.
Could you repeat the question? I was reading the
Yeah.
paper.
No,
I
it's
got
okay.
distracted.
What's one step? What's one next step
One next
that
step.
you either want to encourage yourself with, or that you would encourage someone with? One simple next step of obedience.
What I got thinking about a lot on Sunday was, you know, I live in a small neighborhood, not a lot of traffic through there, but I guess I got houses all around me, and I wave at people all the time as they're getting out of their truck and I'm getting into mine or whatever, and I'm just like, hey. I'm like, what is like, hey, we're gonna grill out on Friday. You want to come hang out and have a steak or chicken or whatever my wife decides to cook? Yeah, she's the master of the grill, not me. Full disclosure. So, but it crossed my mind during the sermon. I was like, that'd be an easy way. Not even like, sometimes people are uncomfortable coming into someone's house that they don't know. But it's like, you know what? We can stand in the backyard and the fence isn't too tall. You can jump and go if you need to. You know, just kind of have it. Maybe that's a gateway.
In the Blessed book, he tells a story of a young couple that brought their barbecue into their front yard.
Oh, heck yeah.
They brought it into their driveway.
Uh-huh.
And it was, I don't know if it was once a month or once a week, but it was the same time. And they went around to all the neighbors. And I don't know if this was maybe during the pandemic when everyone was kind of like at home.
Distancing,
I don't know.
yeah.
But because I don't remember exactly when this book was written. But they went around to all the neighbors to say, hey, we're going to do this. And they did it. And the first 4 times in a row, it was just them. No one even came.
Okay.
But they kept doing it.
Yeah.
So that by the 5th time, someone said, oh, yeah, I'm sorry I missed the first couple, and like actually came. And then actually they like started building some relationship and having conversation over the meals. And they said, yeah, now we've been doing it for a couple months. And we know it's just about time someone is going to finally start asking some religious questions,
Right.
you know, or some spiritual questions. We're just not forcing it. And so I so appreciate the, like, one, bringing to the front yard.
Yeah.
But also it wasn't in order to like, good, you know, bait and switch you. Now we got you here. We're going to tell you about Jesus. Because that feels like pressure. No, what if you just share some burgers
Right.
and get to know each other? Begin with prayer, listen to them, see what's going on in their life, and just eat together. And then it's like, oh, hey, now we kind of know what things to talk about later on. Or when people go, why do you do this? Oh, well, weirdly enough, we talked about it at church. You go to church? Yeah. And that's it.
Right.
You know, like, yeah. What about you, Patrick? What's one simple next step that you would encourage yourself or someone else?
I'm just thinking of the same next step that you gave us yesterday, but you know, have a meal with somebody.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's for me too, is there's multiple people in my life that I would, you know, either consider ones, but then I would add a whole lot more people to that, to like a bless list. People who God just puts in my brain that I want to bless, that, you know, maybe they wouldn't be considered a one, you know, someone who's like close to me, but who feels far from God. But, you know, maybe it's someone who's even already a part of our church, or someone who's, you know, a part of my family or part of my friend group. And it's like, yeah, but I just thought of them, and maybe that's because God wants to bless them through me. And so it's like, man, can I actually just sit down? Can I spend, my next step is after this conversation, can I just set aside 5 minutes, create margin in my schedule, and just write down a list of people that come to mind. God, who do you want me to bless this week? Write down a list of people. Maybe this could be 12 names. Maybe this could be 3 names. And then go, all right, who on there is someone that I can like ask to share a coffee a meal or someone with, and then text them. That's my next step. Write down a list of names and then text someone from that list.
Yep.
But maybe for you, you have a different next step. But the whole point is that we want to take seriously the fact that Jesus is inviting us to join him in his work because he is able to do incredibly more than we could ask or imagine through us when we just give him our yes, when we practice obedience with him, that he's able to work through us to reach those who are near us. But thank you for joining us for this part of the conversation. And until next time, keep praying, keep listening, and maybe even consider to eat together with someone who's on your mind.